Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Convos with Kim. And I am Kim, of course, and I'm so glad that you guys decided to click on this video. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to talk about your single season, and I really feel like it should be talked about. It should be discussed. It's nothing that should be swept under the rug. I also want to apologize for my lighting. I literally went all around my house trying to find good lighting. This lighting seems to be a little better. But yeah, so I apologize now for the lighting, and I'm also recording off my iPhone due to some reasons. But I just upgraded, so the quality should be okay. But anyways, again, thank you for tuning into this video. Why your single season is a blessing. I'm basically going to be sharing with you guys how I spend my single season, how I've spent it, and just some tips and some advice that you guys can take, because if you think about it, everyone's been single before in their life. Everybody, whether it was for a year, 3 months, 30 minutes, a day, everyone has been single before. So I really believe that, someone would be able to take heed to the things that I'm saying in today's video. I have my laptop here to help me stay on track and discuss the 5 points that I'm going to be speaking on. Of course, there's a ton of other things you can do in your single season, but I'm just going to be sharing with you guys things that I've been doing, things that I found very helpful, and just what I recommend that you all should try. I actually recorded this video months ago. I did an IG live, and it was like 30 or 40 minutes. And of course, I couldn't transport it over to YouTube. So I had to recreate the video, which I'm okay with, because I really feel as though that you gain more wisdom as the months go on, and as you're in something, you see it from a different perspective. You become more wise and things like that. So I'm actually glad that I'm recreating it. I am going to share some of the information that was shared in my Instagram video. I'm going to share it on here with a little bit of additions. And it's going to be 2 parts. This is part 1. So this video would be me basically saying things that I recommend you do in this season of your life. And then the second part would be things that I don't recommend that you do. So this is part 1. Be sure to watch part 2. And also please be sure to check out my other videos that have been posted. I apologize that my videos don't really have any kind of order in them. I get an idea, or I just start recording. I'm doing hair, or if I feel like sharing advice, then I'll record it, but it's no particular order. I don't know if I should apologize for that or not, because a lot of channels are like that. But anywho, I'm gonna stop talking about that and really get into this video and what you all came here to listen to. So your single season, as I mentioned before, everyone has been single before, right? I'm currently in my season of singleness, and over the past few months, God has really revealed so much to me. I don't have enough time to sum it up in this whole video to talk about it. But I know, like, growing up, people would associate singleness with being lonely. And if you were single, or, not dating anyone or anything like that, people would put you in the category as being lonely and miserable and things like that. But I really just want to talk about how that's not the case. And I really don't think the two should be associated with one another. Simply because singleness is a beautiful thing. And I think if people change the idea of how they view singleness, it could really change that season that they're in. And it won't just be a dread, and it won't just be spent looking for someone. Okay, it won't just be you chasing after and searching all these things. It'll be more about you and what you do for yourself and self-care and things like that. So with that being said, I recommend, my very first tip for this season is use this season to create a relationship with God. Draw near to God, draw close to God, and really get to know him, get to know who you are in him. That has been the best thing that I have done in this season. And that's why it's my very first thing. it's just so important, because along with that, getting to know God and getting to know who you are in him, so much more is revealed as a result of that. And I think that you should use this season. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more further along in the video, but I really think you should use this video to, like I said, get to know who God is, get to know who he's created you to be. Because once you find that, purpose comes along with that. Your callings begin to be revealed, and then you know why you're created. You know why you're living. You know why he has you here on earth. Because it's you here on earth. Because it's a difference when you're living just to live and when you're living with the purpose. So that's the very first thing I recommend doing. Really spend your single season to get to know God, draw near to him, read your word. Allow this to become a daily thing for you. So that's the very first thing. And I briefly talked about that, but as I share the other points, I'll elaborate more. The second thing I recommend doing, so along with getting to know God and who you are in him, I recommend getting to know yourself, okay? Getting to know yourself. What do you like to do? Who are you? Which, like, identity. This is where identity come in. What are the things that you enjoy doing? What are some things that you are passionate about? What are some things that you've been, putting to the side because you've been so engaged in this toxic relationship and it's been consuming so much of your time that you've put off the things that you want to do and the things that you were created to do. So use this time to get to know yourself. I've been doing things like I never done before, or that I did briefly, such as like painting. I've discovered new hobbies. Like I do hair now. Like I've always loved these things, but actually doing it and incorporating it into my life, I would have never thought about it. I've met amazing people because it's really just me doing the things that I love. And along with that, I meet people who have similar interests as me. So I highly recommend to get to know yourself, get to know what you love, what you don't like. I think those things are very important because it's easy for you, honestly, to get so caught up in your relationship, you forget about yourself and you forget about what are the things that you enjoy doing and the things that you love. So really get to know yourself, and don't rush it. Take your time. There's no set time. When the timing is right, the person will come, okay? So, and along with the first tip, I forgot to add this, with creating a relationship with God. Also allow him to invite him in to your life to prune you and to renew your mind, renew your spirit. Because after so many relationships, after so many heartbreaks, it does something to you. And let's be honest. And if you don't deal with that and you don't allow God to deal with that and heal you, you will carry it on to another relationship, and it's not fair to that person. And I honestly think this happens very, very often. I am guilty of it. We don't deal with our issues. We don't deal with our baggage. And then we get into another relationship. And now we're bleeding all over this person, or they're bleeding all over us, or we're bleeding over each other. And it's a pattern. It's a cycle. So it's very important to allow God to really heal you and prune you and renew you overall. Okay, so the third thing is, so first we said create a relationship with God, get to know him, get to know who you are in him. Your second would be get to know yourself. Third would be to serve other people. So no, it's not just about you in your single season. Use this season to serve others. That could be anything as giving back to your community, serving in your community, in your church, getting involved in your church. Maybe going to, I don't know, maybe there's like giving back to the homeless or something like that, but find something to get involved with. There's tons of apps and tons of ways, and on social media you can donate items, or you can serve or give your time, even if it's just for an hour or 30 minutes. I definitely recommend serving others. The Bible talks about that, using your single season to serve other people. Even your friendships, maybe pour into your friendships. I know that it can be challenging when you're in a relationship to balance being in a relationship, balance your friendships, it is very much manageable. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it can be challenging. So use this time to serve other people besides yourself. For me, I remember August, my journey with Christ really began. I'm sorry, not August, April of last year. In midsummer, I made a vow that I would serve or give back to the community or maybe my church or anything like that once a month, at least once a month. And with doing that, I gave monetary donations, I gave my time. I even created 50 snack packs for children at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. That was just my way of serving other people, because although your single season, it's your single season, it's also about giving back, you know? And this is something I recommend not just doing when you're single. Do it when you're married or you're dating or anything like that. It's important to serve others. Fourth step would be, so this will be, okay, I'll say it and then I'll elaborate. Create goals, achieve those goals, exceed those goals, and create a singles bucket list. So I got the idea of a singles bucket list from a book I was reading by Ashley Powers. And at the end of the book, she basically had 100 spaces, I believe it was 100. And she wrote down 100 things that she wanted to do in her single season. Or just things she wanted to do in general that she had not been able to do. So as you're creating this list, don't just think that you can't do this when you're in a relationship. You can definitely do this when you're in a relationship. You can do this when you're married. But there's a lot of things that, you know, once you're in a relationship, once you're married, your time is different than if you're single, if that makes sense. So I think it will be easier to achieve these things on your bucket list. That's why it's called a singles bucket list, because it's just a list of things you want to do in your single season. Maybe you've wanted to go to a wine tasting class, or maybe a dance class, or a cooking class, or maybe you wanted to save this amount of money, lose weight, I don't know, move to a new city, a new state. These are things that you can do that are exciting, that you can do in your single season. So I definitely highly recommend creating a singles bucket list. I know that one of the items on my bucket list was to mentor a group of young women. I wanted to go on a few mission trips, but due to COVID, that's not very possible. But these are just things that I created. I also created a list of goals that I want to accomplish in my year 24. I'm 24 years old. And again, these things are very, very possible in a relationship, but it just seems for me to be easier single. So yeah, definitely create a list of goals, create your singles bucket list. And as you do these things, knock them off, you know, add to it, delete as you matriculate through them. So that's number 4, goals and singles bucket list. And the last one that I'm going to be discussing today will be to look at the patterns in your past relationships, okay? Really evaluate why these relationships didn't work. Even get to the depths of who was this person, who were these people that I dated, what characteristics do they have, how was their character, what was their personality like. And in doing this, you'll be able to notice patterns. And it's so important that we notice these patterns, because that helps with our further relationships. Because sometimes, y'all, it's the same person, different name, different face, but it's the same person. And when I say that, they have the same habits, the same personality, they treat you the same way, they talk to you the same way. And if you really don't take time to evaluate and observe these things and write down these things, you're going to keep doing this. You're going to keep repeating your same patterns. So it's not a matter of you reflecting on the relationship or dwelling on the relationship. It's really just you helping you to better date in the future and just really attract better people, because that's the goal, right? We don't want to keep attracting the same people. We want to attract better people. So I recommend really just taking time to evaluate your relationships. And I did this, and I definitely noticed patterns, and I noticed that a lot of it had to do with me and my preferences and things like that. I also recommend just giving to God your preferences. Once you do that, He won't return it void. You're going to realize this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Looks doesn't raise a family. this doesn't, all these things don't matter. Yes, you want to be with someone that's attractive, of course, but once you really evaluate your preferences and the things that you desire in a partner, you're going to realize that is not important. I can, kind of negotiate that. You'll realize those things. So yeah, guys, that's really all I wanted to share today. I didn't want this video to be extremely long. Again, this is part 1. Part 2 will be coming next. If there's anything in part 1 that you want me to elaborate more on, please be sure to comment. I will be very open to elaborating more in another video on any of the things that I talk about, but I just wanted you guys to get those 5 things that you should do in your single season. So again, the first one was create a relationship with God, draw near to God, get to know yourself, serve other people. What was 4? Oh yeah, create a goals list and a singles bucket list. And number 5, look at the patterns of your past relationships. Really evaluate those patterns of your past relationships and of your past partners. Thanks for watching this video. Really, thank you. I will see you guys in my next video, and my social media accounts will be in the description box if you guys want to follow me on there.